7/28/2020.
We are getting recorded right now. The class has started. This is Josiah Mizurike on each one teach one. I am the instructor, lead instructor for IT Foundation and AWS Cloud Training, codename iFACT, and we are implementing these program with each one teach one, and Lachlan LLC is the one that sponsors the whole program. And I welcome you guys to this program. This is our day 14, and we are continuing from where we stopped, which is programming on a brush with Python, a brush with the big old snake. That's interesting. So, I know that somebody had asked me when is the class coming to an end and everything. The class ends in September. It's 16 weeks program, and we are touching all the bases that are needed and required for you to be proficient in the cloud environment, understanding the core of IT. And we have touched many things, and we are yet to touch the virtualization, which I actually mentioned about virtualization. Actually, virtualization is a completely different field of its own. People get paid to be experts in it, or to be people that have knowledge in it, working experience in it. They get paid for it. And I don't know if you've heard of ESX and the likes of it. Um, I don't know if you've heard of what you call it. Um, there's another one. I forgot the name. These are bare metal type one hypervisors that's been out there for some time. I believe Citrix is one of them as well. So these are where we used to be before the cloud came into the picture. These are what we used to do, how we used to convert physical to software and so on and so forth, how we used to convert any process that involves um, any kind of exchange in industry of information technology. We can change from compute to network. We can take it from physical to virtual, all of that. So virtualization was there, and what made virtualization possible was hypervisor. Hypervisor is the thing, the main brain behind it, which is capable of changing all these physical things to be useful in a virtual environment. So we're not gonna do the a lot of virtualization, but we have to do the introductory aspect of virtualization. After which we go back to Python. So I want the class to be dynamic. I don't want to bore anyone with it. So I'm gonna share the screen. I'm really gonna go and do virtualization. And I also want you guys to understand that all these things we're doing is for a purpose. So the purpose for virtualization is to show where we used to be before, right? Before all these things, right? So if you're showing somebody how something works, it is imperative that you tell them, hey, look, this is where we used to be before, and then we got to this point. So therefore, I'm gonna try to show where we used to be before with the virtualization technology, which is a harbinger of the cloud. Having said that, I know some of you might have gone to the guide or read the book a little bit again. I know Natalie always ahead and she's always trying to read stuff, which is very encouraging. So let's go and visit um, virtualization. I'm sure you'll find it interesting. We appreciate that you do things on the fly, like impromptu, because most of the job that you do, your capability will be weighed based on the fact that you can think on your feet. And you're a problem solver. You can do a T-shoot and you solve the problem immediately. That's always a big plus if you're going into the industry. So let's see here. Concept of cloud is here, and I think virtualization is over here. So most of the material I research them and I get them. I get the ones that will be useful to you. I don't go by a particular book. I go by what will be useful to you. And if I find a book that's also useful, we're gonna use that book. So that's the approach we use here. We are very practical in the way we address issues here. So virtualization technology, the main thing when you hear about virtualization, always put it in your mind, hypervisor. So Assuming you guys can see my screen, so we're gonna go ahead and take our time and explain all these things clearly so we can benefit from learning this, okay? So here we have just a synopsis introduction. Server virtualization, as you guys well know, is a very trendy topic in IT. It's very popular, and its adoption keeps growing, and it's used in many places up to today. A lot of companies still use Citrix. They use ESSi. When I was learning ESSi, I think I started with 6.0, 6.5, etc., etc. That's out there. Currently, I think they're up to on 11 or so. We can always Google it. Someone can Google that ESSi. What is the latest version of ESXi virtual environment? So you can check that and it will give you. So the question is, what makes virtualization possible? The answer is hypervisors. So when you look at the word virtualization, it means that literally, when you look at the dictionary meaning, it's just something that is not tangible, right? So server virtualization allows different operating systems running separate applications on one server, which still they are using the same physical resources like CPU, hard disk, um, you know, memory, etc., etc. All those things I taught you guys in hardware. So they are using that, but these virtual machines. And somebody wanted to say something. Can you guys hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, I got my hand stuck up. Sorry, my phone.
All right, okay, let's move forward here. So these virtual machines make it possible for system and network administrators to have a dedicated machine for every service they need to run. You see the advantage of virtual machine. We haven't even started, and you see it. So you can easily spin up a network interface card. You can easily spin up a switch, easily spin up a router in a virtual environment. Okay, so you can spin up a workstation, servers, etc., etc. These are virtual machines. All right. Okay, you can also manage them with VMMs. So not only does these reduce the number of physical servers that you have, so instead of buying 20, 30 servers, you buy one powerful server with VT, virtual environment or virtual environment technology, VT. You buy one nice machine, physical machine, maybe HP or maybe Dell, etc., etc., with a Xeon Intel processor. And now you go and take one of these type 1 hypervisor software and you put it on there. And when you put it on there, it allows you to put many other, maybe 1,000 other servers running out of that monstrosity of a machine. So now draw that analogy to the cloud and keep it to yourself. Okay, we get to it. So now the question again is, what are hypervisors? We already know what makes virtualization possible. That's the same thing that makes cloud possible. So now what actually is hypervisor? A hypervisor is a crucial piece of software that makes virtualization possible. And everything in the cloud is what? Virtual. They're not physical. We're not buying any machine. Total cost of ownership is very short. You get your money back within 2 or 3 years. Instead of buying those machines, you just go on the cloud and you expand. You take advantage of that cloud services out there. So hypervisors create virtualization layer that separate the CPU from the processor, the RAM, and other physical resources from the virtual machine you create. So you have guest machines sitting on the host. The host is physical, but the guest machines doesn't know if it's sitting on the host or not. It just knows it's a machine and it's running a process in it. That is virtualization for you. So they don't know the hardware and the virtual machine. They don't know who is who. The virtual machine sits there and does the work. So the machine will install a hypervisor. The machine that we install a hypervisor on is called a host machine. Like I said, you install the software that has the hypervisor technology in it on a hardware. Okay. Now the guest virtual machines is the one that run on top of the hypervisor software that you put on there. Example is ESSi. Did somebody find out the version of ESSi that's in use today? If you did, can you tell us? So hypervisors emulate available resources so that guest machines can use them, right? No matter what operating system you boot up with a virtual machine, it will think that the actual physical hardware is at its disposal. It doesn't matter, you will just work and you will get the job done. So from a VM standpoint, can everybody still hear me?
We can hear you,
Yes.
but it
So
cuts in and out a little bit though.
did anybody get the latest version of ESXi that is in use today? That's a very popular Type 1 hypervisor. And ESS, they made a lot of these things that allows you to stand up servers, thousands of servers on just a bare metal. So I wanted you guys to, be aware of that. So if nobody's finding it, I'll find it myself, and hopefully, ESSi. So that's how what you type. Okay, I'll just say latest version, and it will just show us the latest version here. I think, okay, okay, okay. It seems like they are at 7.0, eh? Interesting. So this is what I was trying to show you guys here. So
It
yes,
says 7.0 with stable release.
that's a stable release, right?
Yeah.
So these are the build 7B, install build, release date 2020. They just released that actually. Look at it right here. Right. Just this June. All right, so you see it now. So you can actually install this on any physical machine that you don't want to use anymore, so you can play with it and see how amazing this is. Okay, so let's move forward. It's always good to see what you're learning. So now, from a VM standpoint, there's no difference between physical and virtualized environment. That's from a VM standpoint. But for us, we know this one is a hardware, and then we have put all these guest machines inside this hardware using this software ESSi, which is a hypervisor actually within inside of it that's making all these things possible. Whereby the software code you put together to formulate the processes doesn't it acts like a machine, while in fact it's not a physical machine. Okay, so guest machine do not know the hypervisor created them in a virtual environment. They're not aware. They're not self-aware of that. So they're not aware that they are sharing available computing power. VMs run simultaneously with the hardware that powers them, and so they are entirely dependent on its stable operation. So remember, they run on the hardware that powers them. So if the hardware goes off, they go off. So they depend on those hardware. That's the type, the VMware. So for type 1 hypervisor, pay attention, also called the bare metal or the native, like the example I gave. So a bare metal hypervisor is a layer of software we install directly on top of the physical server and its underlying hardware. This is there is no software or any operating system in between. Hence the name bare metal hypervisor. A type 1 hypervisor is proven in providing excellent performance stability since it does not run inside an operating system like Windows or Linux, etc., etc. But there's some interesting stuff though. The way they write the code for the bare metal, it seems to me that they are using other languages that includes maybe Unix, but I don't see it as an operating system because they're not. They don't look at it as an operating system. Anyway, when you check it out, you see for yourself. So type 1 hypervisors are an OS themselves, like a very basic one on top of which you can run virtual machines. The physical machine the hypervisor is running on serves virtualization purposes only. You cannot use it for anything else. So once you install USSI on a hardware, say a computer, an old computer you don't want to use no more, you can't run any other operating system on it. It's just gonna hold that only, that. Okay, it's just gonna hold that. So type 1 hypervisors are mainly found in enterprise environment because enterprise environments. Can somebody tell me why? Why are they always in enterprise environment? Because there are many computers that are required in an enterprise environment. There are many of them. So they use the type 1 hypervisors to save money. Right? Right? So everybody there? Can you guys hear me? Have I lost you guys? Yes, I lost them. Hello guys. Are you guys back?
Yes, I can hear you. I just don't see the picture yet.
Where did you guys cut
I
off from?
can't see. When we were on page 46, and we were talking about the hypervisor number one.
Type
I
1
think it was number
hypervisor.
one. Yes.
So did you guys see about that somehow they kind of like a special kind of operating system that you put on the hardware so that the type 1 hypervisor will run, and the virtual machines and the hardware, the virtual machine is dependent on the hardware. So if something happens to the hardware, then the virtual machine has a problem on its own, right? So now this is actually the diagram of the setup for type 1 hypervisor. If you look at it carefully, you see type 1 hypervisor is there, and you have the virtual machines inside the type 1 hypervisor, and then you have a physical machine upon which everything is. I tried to show you guys a diagram that's closely related to this yesterday. Please, at any point, if you cannot hear me, let me know. And again, at any point, if we're talking and you feel like you want to let me know that you guys can hear me, you can do something. You can, raise your hand or do something. So I need to know that interaction. So when you guys cut off, I will be aware immediately. So moving forward, let's look at the type 2 hypervisor. This one is also known as hosted hypervisors. So can somebody tell me what this one is referring to, guys? have we have Microsoft Hyper-V. That's their own version of Type 1 hypervisor. And we have our Oracle VM. That's their own version. And we have VMware vSphere. That's another version which is high level. And then you have VMware ESSi. That's another version of that hypervisor software. So the type 2 is known as hosted hypervisors. So let's look at that. Before we go to type 2, I think we should look into the hypervisor type 1 performance. So given that the type 1 hypervisors are relatively simple, they do not offer many functionalities. Okay. Once you boot up a physical server with a bare metal hypervisor installed, it displays a command prompt like screen. If you connect a monitor to the server, what you get to see are some of the hardware and network details. This consists of the CPU type, the amount of memory, the IP address, and the MAC address. Below is an example. They're going to show you an, I think your ESSi 6.70. This is what you see when you get the software for type 1 hypervisor. When you boot it up, this is what you see. Okay, so normally they use a management. There's a management system that allows you to go in and set things up, etc., etc. Okay, so when you boot into this, it just asks you for username and password. You put the username and password, and you get in. Okay, when you get in, you can stand up whatever server that you want. I mean, whatever workstation you want or server, etc., etc. But to manage it, you need another piece like vCenter and etc. etc. You need that to be able to manage it. So another type 1 hypervisor may look quite different, but they also only allow for simple server configuration. This consists of one, changing the date and time, IP address, password, etc. in order to create virtual instances. You need a management console. It's like I said, you need a management console set up on another machine. Using the console, you can connect to the hypervisor on the server and manage your virtual environment. See? So a management console can be web-based or separate software package you install on the machine for which you want remote management. Depending on what functionalities you need, the license cost for management consoles varies substantially. So once action, one of the best features of Type 1 hypervisors is that they allow for what they call over allocation and physical resource.
Excuse me.
Over allocation of physical resources. That means if you have 8 gig of RAM, somehow you can over allocate it. That it allows for that. With Type 1 hypervisor, you can assign more resources to your virtual machines than you have available. For example, if you have 128 gigabyte of RAM on your server and 8 virtual machines, you can assign 24 gigabytes of RAM to each of them. This total up to 192. That's an advantage of RAM. But VMs themselves will not actually consume all 24 gigabytes from the physical server. You see, the VMs think they have 24 gigabytes when in reality they only use the amount of RAM they need to perform particular task. So the hypervisor allocates only the amount of necessary resources. For instance, to be fully functional, this is one of the reasons all modern enterprise data centers, such as I think example here is Phoenix Now, use type 1 hypervisors. So most of the data centers today are using what? Type 1 hypervisors. So here, type 1 vendors. See, a type 1 vendor will include, these are most common type, VMware, vSphere with the ESS and ESSi. So VMware is an industry-leading vendor of virtualization technology, and many large data centers run on their products. It may not be the most cost-effective solution for smaller IT environments. If you do not need all the advanced features like VMware, vSphere, vCenter. There's a free version of this hypervisor and multiple commercial editions. So the one that I find to be free are usually VMware workstations. That's the one that are free and they are small scale and all that. Those ones are majorly type 2. They need an operating system to run. So there's another one. These ones are very old. If you've been in the computer field for some time, you might have remembered these KVMs. Remember one of those KVMs that they have from like for your keyboard and your mouse? That little thing that you hook up to so that you can switch what you can use one keyboard for maybe 5 or more computers. All you have to do push the button. That keyboard will be used to interact with the different computer. So that's KVM, kernel-based virtual machine, they call it. So it doesn't only work for keyboards, it works for other things. So KVM is built into Linux as an added functionality. It lets you convert the Linux kernel into a hypervisor. It is sometimes confused with a type 2 hypervisor. So we have to look into it more, okay? It has direct access to hardware along with virtual machines it hosts. KVM is an open source hypervisor that contains all the features of Linux with the addition of many other functionalities. This makes it one of the top choices for enterprise environments. They do a lot more stuff. Some of the highlights include live migration, scheduling, and resource control, alongside with higher prioritization. So imagine migrating a hardware to some other kind of environment. This is a powerful tool. Okay. So we have also another popular one, Microsoft Hyper-V is still the same thing. It has the same features as VMware. Okay. Then we also have Oracle VM. They have their own. And then we have Citrix Hypervisor. I remember this one known as Zen Server. When I started, it was called Zen Server. Now it's Citrix Hypervisor. They have a lot of interesting stuff. Okay. So Citrix is proud of its proprietary features such as Intel and NVIDIA enhanced virtualized graphics. They are the ones that make that eye-popping graphics that is being used today in all the game industries. Okay, they have done a lot of work in this area. They have a full-blown features. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, they are gone. Hello, you gotta turn that down.
It looks like it might be coming in.
Yeah, I'm right
Let's
here.
see. Oh, yay!
What happened?
Wait, wait. I
What
don't
happened?
know.
I didn't hear anything, and then I just refreshed.
Oh, you refresh and you start hearing stuff.
Yeah, because I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, just give me a second, okay?
Okay.
I'm trying to see if there's anything I can improve here. All right, let's go ahead. Where did you guys stop? Did you guys remember?
Um, we did type 2 hypervisor, type 1 hypervisor. I think we were on page like 48, maybe.
Yeah,
The
Maybe
things
we haven't
like the
started time.
memory,
Oh,
the
okay.
virtual machines, like allocation of the RAM.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
So is this where you guys stopped me? Like right here?
I can't see the screen.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
first, Can anyone else see the screen or
No,
just
nobody can
me?
see it. I
Oh,
have to
oh,
share it with you.
sorry. I just see LD. On my screen, it just says
That's
LD.
okay. All right. So, did you guys get
Oh,
to this point with me?
Oracle VM.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Yeah.
48, maybe 49.
No.
Pages.
We were on type 1 vendors.
Oh, type one. Okay,
Is
type
that
one vendors. So the
Oh,
type
yeah.
one vendors
Page 50.
use ESS, ESSI. They are pretty much VMware's vSphere. Okay, and we also have KVM kernel, KVM, which is kernel based virtual kernel based let's see, kernel based virtual machine. And then you have also Microsoft Hyper-V, and you have Oracle VM. These are popular ones. You have Citrix. Citrix is also popular for type 1. Now, let's look at type 2. So for type 2 hypervisor, this type of hypervisor runs inside an operating system. So the rest is history. Can you give me an example of this example of this kind of hypervisors? Is anybody there? Did I lose you guys again?
No, I'm here. I can hear you.
I'm here. I was looking for the answer.
Have anybody heard about VMware Workstation?
No.
Has anybody heard about VirtualBox by Oracle?
No. Only just like
All right. So these are hosted hypervisors, and I'll explain why. As opposed to type 1 hypervisors that run directly on the hardware, hosted hypervisors have one software layer underneath. In this case, we have a physical machine. We also have an operating system, which could be any, like Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. Then a type 2 hypervisor software within the operating system. So you have to have a hardware that supports hypervisor, and that hardware you have to go and set in the CMOS to use VT virtualization technology in order to use that hardware to do what? To install the operating system so that when you put the piece, like the type 2 hypervisor software, when you put the piece on that operating system, then it will work. It will do, you will have a guest virtual machines on the actual instance. Okay? So now on the actual hardware, sorry, now we're gonna see an example of the drawing how it looks. You see, you have the physical machine. Inside the physical machine, there's an operating system on the hardware, and then inside the operating system, there's a virtual PC like you see over there, or Oracle VirtualBox or VMware Workstation. So let me show you. This is
just say so is that like the way that we'll get a laptop here and then we will lease Windows or whatever like from Microsoft and that's their hypervisor like running it and then we have Windows as an operating system. Is that what that is?
almost. You see how you have you on your computer right now, and you have operating
Yeah,
system. Okay. If I want you to do a
yeah.
VT whereby you can have load any other operating system on there and run it and get the result that you want, I'll ask you to go and get VMware workstation like VMware. I like VMware workstation. There's also um, Oracle. There's also Oracle Virtual Box. Okay, me personally, I like this one, especially the player, so that way I don't have to pay for the workstation. I like the player a lot. Okay, so these are old workstations. You probably get it for free. So you can download it if you want. If you really interested in getting it, go to VMware website, create an account there. Then you go and download their older versions. You can run it on your computer. Okay. So this is just a review of the VirtualBox and the VM workstation. But I'll go ahead and show you guys what I use on my computer. I think I have one of this. If I'm not mistaken, I have a VM somewhere here. If not, I have a VirtualBox. Let me see. Then if I don't have it, we'll just load it. No big deal. VMware. Oh, okay. I don't have a VMware, but I think I have a VirtualBox, which is this one. Okay. It's gonna come up and we're gonna see for ourselves. This is type 2 hypervisor, right? So I have an operating system which you can see is Windows, right? Now inside this, I installed this thing here, which is the software that allows me to run the virtual machines, right? Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this here, all of this. I'm gonna paste it for you guys. I know some of you guys wanna try it out. Let's do it. Shouldn't be afraid. Okay, we're gonna go here. So if you wanna try it out, we are going to put it here. There's also this is easy install, as well as VMware 2 is also easy install. Okay, some people like, it's just a weapon of choice, right? Some people like this one, some people like the other ones. If I remember some of these passwords, I will log into one of them. So let's try this one, see if I remember password to that one. If you look, this is Windows 10. It's a Windows 10 preview. So now, since I've already installed Windows 10 here, and most of this stuff are installed as an ISO or VMDK files. So when you go online and you look for them, you will see them mostly as VM, like VirtualBox. You will see this one as let me see what we see them as, VMDK right here. All right. So most of the time you download them as an ISO and you install them. Maybe we'll try to install one or two here. Import. It has different stuff. When you scroll down, you see it has. You can check for updates. You can import appliance. You can actually add new machines, like here. You can add a new machine, but make sure you have the ISO for the machine. Like for instance, if we want to add a new machine and we go here, let's see for ourselves what happens. You see the Windows 10 is coming up. Okay. So when it shows you this kind of stuff, just say copy. It works all the time whenever you do copy. For me, it works. I don't know about any other person. So this is an operating system that I'm using the hypervisor to get to run in another operating system. And this operating system is not self-aware that is actually on a hardware doing this. So this is a harbinger of the cloud, what's happening in the cloud right now. You're seeing where it all began. So, name of operating system. Okay, this is the new one I wanted to create. So to be able to create a new VM, so you have to make sure that you name the operating system. Maybe we name it something like cloud movement, I say, like that. And we go next. At a point, it's gonna ask us the size of memory we want for it. I'm gonna leave it at 2, and I go next. And let's pay attention here. It says do not add a virtual hard disk. It says create a virtual hard disk now. It says use an existing virtual hard disk. You see what it did there? So that means you can choose anywhere you want this to run from. You can decide you want it to run on a standard drive. You can decide, oh, I want this to run on my USB card, and that means you send it there. Okay, you create it there. So I'll create it on my USB, but if you create it, make sure it's an empty USB. I'm not gonna create it because I don't want to wipe my information. But if you're gonna create it there, make sure it's an empty one. So for here, I'll just create it here. Create a virtual hard disk now, and I'll say, if I say do not create a virtual hard disk, and that this space is too big though, I need a smaller one. Okay, let's do this. The SD card VDI. I think I have the card somewhere here. I don't even know because it's reading it. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, let me just create it, okay, guys? I'll delete it later. So now pay attention on this side. There are three ways you can have a VDI. That's a VirtualBox disk image, which you can download from Google, from the VirtualBox website, or you can do a virtual hard disk, or you can do a VMDK virtual machine disk. You see? So if you choose VDI virtual disk image, so you better be assured that you have that from the site, from whatever site you want to get it from. This one, okay, this one seems like it has a little problem. Not able to any keyboard and mouse. So let's see why it's having problems. It's been a while. I haven't run this, guys, so don't feel any kind of way. I use VMware. I don't use this one. So let's go here and see if we can get a VMDK. Oracle. Let's do Oracle VM. Oracle VM, right? I mean VirtualBox, not VM. Oracle VM VirtualBox, yeah. So we go here. We're just looking for any useful operating system we can use to demonstrate how it works. That's all we're looking for. So hopefully we'll find one quickly here. My computer is a little slow, guys. Can you guys hear me still? Can you guys hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you.
All right, so you can download a VirtualBox, the same that I have, 6.1. It's a software that will allow you to, host, I mean, have a guest VMs. Like I've already installed mine. Mine is an older version. Uh, Mine is what version is mine again? Okay, I'll show you later. But the one that I just found, the newer one, the one I found is the newer one. Save the machine state. Power. I don't want to power it up. Let me just save the machine state. I'll restart it another time. So are you guys seeing the beauty of virtualization now? You can do whatever you want with the machines. You know, you can save the machine state. You can
What
destroy.
do
You
you
can
use the
expand them.
machine for? What do you
Beg your pardon?
what kind of things do you use the machine for? What?
I can't hear you well.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Use the virtual machines for, Josiah.
Beg your pardon? Oh,
I
okay.
was asking, what kind of things would you use the virtual machines for?
Oh, okay. So we use it for a lot of stuff. We can have an operating system running in another operating system because of virtual hypervisor. So like right here, you're looking at different operating system that I have in my Windows. Look at this, Kali Linux. I have Kali Linux for hacking here. What made it possible? This guy, VirtualBox 6.0. You see, I have Kali Linux. I'm gonna go inside the Kali Linux right now. Right here. See, that's an operating system that I'm putting up right now. This is the core of the cloud. That's why we're learning it. This is the core of the cloud. You see, it's another operating system that I'm putting up inside another operating system using type 2 hypervisor software, which in this case is called Oracle Virtual VM VirtualBox.
And you use that to run the cloud.
This is what's behind the cloud. Virtualization is what is behind the cloud.
Okay.
You see,
Thank you.
virtualization is what is behind the cloud because you don't need physical machines for everyone, but you have one humongous monstrosity of a machine, and then you install whatever you want in that one, and every other thing lives on it. I don't know if I remember the password, but I will try. I have another one password to try to make sure. Oh, I hope it works. I've tried a lot of the password that I know and remember it's not working. So you guys can testify that it's been quite a long time that I haven't used this particular thing. I use VMware, not this guy. But it's always good to know different kind of tools, guys. Uh, this is cancel.
Yes.
Maybe I can do something. I can do something to change the password. Send the machine, cancel, send the shutdown signal. Let me save the state and come back and restart it, okay, guys? And it's gonna save the state. I'm gonna restart it, but this time I'm gonna push escape so that it will take me to somewhere else. So I'll push escape. Oh, activation connection failed.
What if they reset the root password?
Oh, you can't really do it here like that, unless you hacked into it somehow. Let me see if I
like you
can.
can power it off and
Like if you go to the machine itself, I've never done it that way. I normally will hack into it. Okay, let me push alternate int. So right now, I'll just try another thing. Do you have a way of changing the root password here?
yes, I can guide you.
Huh?
Yes, we can guide you. Try to know how to get that too. Yeah, you turn it off and then reboot it, and when it's rebooting, you
See, what I do it is I push E and escape when they are started. That's how I've always done it. And then I'll go and
yeah, but I you gotta power off the machine, not save.
like the way I do it. Like you see now it's starting. I think I push E. I push E now. You see, I push E,
Yeah.
and then I go somewhere in some line
Yes.
to change something. I have to change.
Linux, where it says Linux, unless it's different with the Kali Linux, or the Ubuntu and the
So
Raven.
the
It's
I'm not
supposed to be a line that starts with the word Linux.
set root.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me blow it up. Make it bigger. Ah, it's freezing on me. It's too much stuff now. Uh, I think it's somewhere
I
here.
see Linux. Is it Linux?
Yeah, it's
You
somewhere
see?
here. So we have to change.
Yes.
I think we have to change here.
What's
R
Linux?
ROW
I see like the end like quiet. Oh, okay. So right after quiet, you put rb.break.
So you have to go bin bash somewhere here. After quiet.
Yeah, you put rb.break.
After quiet. You have to put something after quiet. But it's not, oh shoot. I got it.
The top line, the next line at the top.
It's on there. I don't see that cursor anymore. Do you guys see it?
You wanna enlarge the screen?
Oh man.
Okay, I think there's too much spacing. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and then one
Now,
space, and then RB.
so there's space there now.
Okay, write RB. Don't break.
Okay. Just paste it there.
Okay.
Root, admin. So that's why I normally change it, reset it. This is how I do it.
Do you see?
Okay, let me check. That is how I normally would change that stuff. My mouse, where are you? Control alternate, control insert. I need to get my mouse out of there.
Okay. Repeat the right control.
Alternate control, yeah. But it's refusing to come out. You can see it's still in there. Okay, let me see what I can do here. All of a sudden, I know it's frozen because of all this stuff I have. So that's the downside of hypervisor. Whatever happens to the machine will affect the virtual machine automatically as well. Okay. All right, let's do that. I'm so mad at this. It won't let me do it. Okay, let me see if I can sign in through here and get it from here. Don't worry. So you posted it on the group, right? Group chat. Hello?
Yes, on the text results.
Oh, text resource. I'll get it then. Let's see. So, so which one did you already break? That's different. You use different one. Okay, I see. So that's a different one. I never used that one before. Are you guys with me here?
Control X.
So that's that, right?
And then Control X.
Yeah, this is a different command.
So hit Control and X.
I never used this one before. This is different.
Oh, on your keyboard.
Huh?
Josiah.
Yes?
Just on your keyboard. Do not type that.
Oh, okay.
Control X.
Control S is to reboot it, though.
Yes. So you can change it. It's gonna bring the like a line, so you can enter the password and all that. Command prompt.
Oh my goodness, no. It didn't do it. It didn't do it.
Okay.
I never used your system. Maybe I should use my system. Something you do it on a physical machine, right? That's where you normally
No, we
do
do
it.
it on a virtual machine. Yeah.
You normally do it on I meant to say you normally do it on a virtual machine or you do it for a physical machine.
Virtual. On a virtual machine and a yes.
So you do it on a virtual machine and it works for you
It's a virtual box, yes.
and it works. Wow, that's amazing. This one never worked for me
Yes.
because I never even used this one. I use a different way to do it. So the way I used to do it is I go to E and I'll then type. This is not just any virtual machine. This is kind of funny, different. This is how you get into it. So we gotta get it done. Don't worry. All right, let's get it done. I think that we should follow the way I did it before. But hopefully it will work. We'll learn something new today. Understand? So I have to push E so that it will take me there. Okay. So now we go back to, I think we're gonna go back to inet something something like we did before. So we go here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We change this guy to, yeah, we change it to this so that we can write on it. So we change it to that, and then so we look for quiet. Behind quiet, we put. Did anybody see quiet?
Yeah.
I see it too. Okay, right here. Is it on T now? Oh yeah. Okay. So what we need to do there, we do inet equal assignment parameter will be in bin bash. That's how you do it, I think. bin bash. I don't know if I have too much space here. Yeah. Uh-oh. That's good enough, guys? Is it too much space? No, it's just right about bin bash, okay? So, once we do
Did
that,
you delete E or fire?
huh?
Fire, the word fire. I don't.
Beg your pardon? So we change
Yeah.
the
Maybe.
we change the like the hard disk to be writable. That's why we put the RW. So we go to inet RD, install GTK at oh, the E is missing. Is that what you were saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes, fire.
Oh, what kind of quiet is that? Like E, like this?
Yeah.
Quiet. Okay. I feel like we have to remove that quiet altogether. Yeah, we have to remove that. So now we can reboot it. Yeah, we can reboot it now. All right. So it's good now, I guess. Ready? So we do Control X or F10. Let's do F10. Should be able to bring us to. Yeah, this is more like it. Yep. Now we can mount it. We can mount. Now we can mount. Yeah, I see the RW. That means read and write, which is good. So now I can do PASSW. I don't have to specify the name. He knows right away. This is successful, guys. We have to clap for ourselves. At least some of you guys have learned the trick on how to hack into a Linux machine that they don't have a password. You just laugh and say, okay, I can deal with that. I can't hear you.
Yeah. She's saying for like the Red Hat exam, that's the first question.
You said it's a pass question?
That's the first one, like the number one question on a Red Hat exam.
Oh, really? So this is the first question in the Red Hat exam?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's like the instructor told us that's the first question, so you should know how to do it.
So we have a
Is
little
this
problem.
been
Yeah,
cool?
we have a little problem. I restarted it. It says everything is successful, but my kernel is panicking. Yeah, because I think I did it
Um,
the wrong way. I should have done this. I should have done wrote a command to reboot it instead of doing control X. But it's okay. Oh, I made something dirty here.
did you have to write like auto relabel?
No, I you saw what happened is it says the end kind of panic, not syncing. So it has to do with pretty much it's just hardware problem right now. Just a hardware
Is
problem
it
right now.
recording?
Whenever they wrote the stuff, they're having problem with it. Yeah, man.
Hi, is this recording?
Are you with I can't hear you. Are you with me?
I'll type it. I'm just asking if we're recording the session.
Yeah, it's being recorded. So let me save the machine state again, okay, guys? If I save the machine state and I come back, it will work fine, okay? So let's just cancel this out and I go back and I do this. So whenever I encounter problem, I'll just like to save my machine state pretty much. Hopefully it will go through. Maybe we get stuck there again. Uh, yeah, it's stuck there.
Is it because you took quiet out?
Huh?
Is it because you took quiet out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think quiet's supposed to be out so that it can actually allow me to do what I need to do. So it's powered off. Let's go and restart it, guys. Don't worry, it will work. If it doesn't work, we make it work. Trust and believe that. So let's let it go in the boot. Okay. Okay, still going. Hopefully it will get us where we need to be. Sometimes the dump the cache is corrupt or something is dirty. It would not take that command or the change that we made. But I just hope that it does take the change that we made. It did. It worked, guys. Are you guys with me?
Go on.
Yes,
Go
yes,
on.
that's it.
It looks like it worked.
Yes.
Let's see. It looks like it worked.
Come on.
Looks like it worked. But we have to see the operating system come up. So Natalie will be happy. Natalie, there you go. Does it make sense? You have an operating system inside an operating system because of the type 2
Come
virtual.
on. Come on. Oh.
Exactly. Now you get it. So now you can even configure it to go on the internet. Okay? You can configure it to go on the internet, this thing here. So you can let's see what they have for network. You can configure, you can do all kind of stuff. You can add what you want to it. Okay, this one say add. Okay, I don't want to do any VPN, but basically I want to go and see what is going on. Settings. I want to see the settings of it and go to network. This is well configured. It's a breached, meaning it's getting an IP from this one. Maybe I want to do a NAT. If I do a NAT network, then it can easily connect me to the internet. That means I'm getting a set of IPs from, you see, I'm getting a set of IPs from the same machine. So now let's go in here. Pay attention, ladies. So we go to the browser, it has its own browser. We can do this for Windows, we can do this for Mac, we can have Mac running on Windows and all of that because we are using a type 2, type 2 virtual environment, type 2 hypervisor to be precise. So let's say google.com. If we do that, we should be able to go on the internet, no doubt. And I can even show you guys the IP address. Oh shoot, sorry about that. Okay, you went there, you're on the internet. I can also go to the terminal right here and spin up the terminal and show you the IP address that's running on. It's gonna be relative to the IP address that my computer is running on, to be honest, because if they're all on the same access point, then config, if config, right? So if you look carefully, it's 10.0, right? It's 10.0, guys. What class is this?
It's a class A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's class A is 10. So this is done. So let's go and run CMD for the host. The host is this, right? Is this one. We run for this one is Windows, it's not Linux. So we're gonna do ipconfig all. We're gonna do oh no, small case. ipconfig. All right, so we're gonna go here and look. Then if he's doing a NAT, that means if the IP address are not in the same block, in the same range, then it's getting the IP from the host. But let's see. Okay, I think my connection is here, which is 192.168.0.34. So this is a different. It's in a different subnet. Okay, this is 192, which is class B, but the IP that we saw for the machine is class A. So let me ping something. 10.0.0.0. It will not stop. So basically, what I'll do ns lookup. Okay, and I do 10. Let me see what it's gonna resolve to. 0.1. Okay, I was right then. So 53, what is 53, guys? Can somebody, smart person, I know some of you, two of you guys know what this is. This is the DNS server. DNS server is within the scope of my network. That means we are correct. So it's working with my the scope that I'm in, which is this one. However, the IP address is getting is quite different. Okay, the let's go back again and take a look. Is it this one? So we do if config again. Okay, so if you this is loop back, comes back to itself, and this is the actual IP address that is getting, which is class A. So when we did NS lookup, when we did the NS lookup for, so we're asking a DNS, what DNS knows this IP address? Like we asking for this IP address, and it's giving us this DNS. That's the DNS that knows about it. Okay, all right. So let's also do maybe 192.168. It might not respond very well here. What does this tell us? Come on, guys. Telling us the same stories from my modem. Okay, but my system is given its own IP address, which is from class A. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Because I checked for 10.0.1, which could have been what the network address for the virtual machine, right? So it means if there's other virtual machines that come in, they're gonna have to have an IP address starting from where mine stopped, which in this case mine is this here. My virtual machine has this as an IP address, 10.0.2.4, right? So the next one will be 5.5.6.7. So I looked up this big old thing here, which could be a very large network, and it's telling me that this DNS is the one that is working with. Number 53 means 53 is the port number for DNS. And then I come down here and I did 192.168.0.1. It points me back again to the same DNS. So now let me show you another thing. If you do any other IP address that is not this one, let's see what it points you to. Oh, 192.168 there. See, it's not lying, it's telling the truth. It still goes and say, hey, this DNS is the one. Hey, this DNS is the one. So it's been resolved on my machine. So my machine is responsible for the IP address that the guest is getting. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Yeah. So now this IP address is not coming anywhere else but from the guy that's using it, which is my machine, my physical machine. So this is it here. And I think this makes a lot of sense to you and every one of you here. So this simply means that any one of us can go and stand up their own operating system. So in order to do it right, you have to shut down the machine, okay? You go to file. To shut the machine down, I prefer going here. I go here and I go and I shut it down. See, it's like you have a machine inside a machine, right? And it's gone. You see, it's gone now, but it's still in your system, okay? This machine is still in your system. If you go down to the property, to the settings, you can actually look at the directory. Where is that? Actually, I'm going too far. It's right here. I'm going way too far. It's just right here, guys. If you follow C and you follow your directory, the user, the directory, the user, the directory, and then you look at the account owner here, the username, and then you look at the virtual box for VMs, you'll find Kali Linux in there. You'll find all these ones, all these other ones in there too. Metasploit and all of that. So let's go check. So let's go check it. Yeah, let's check it. So we go to users, right? Right, guys? Are you guys with me? Are you
In
guys
the
good?
building.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's a refreshment. So we go to VirtualBox, right? VirtualBox, we look for VirtualBox, and we see all the VMs that are in there. See, this is the Kali Linux, and guess what? This is the one I try to create, but I don't have any VHD or VMDK to attach so I can boot the machine, because I have to specify the directory to get it. We do it next time, okay? So now, as you can see, there's nothing in there. But when I click on Kali Linux, you will see there's a VDI in here. Still, without this, it's not gonna work because it's a virtual disk image. So for any operating system that you want to install, you can go to Google and type in who wants to install any operating system. Just go here to Google and say I'm looking for Raspberry Pi VDI. Raspberry Pi VDI. So hopefully we'll find that. It's a small lightweight operating system we can install. No touch OS, lLinux, get Raspberry Thin client. Yep, we can try this, but we're not gonna install it today. All right, guys. So we can try that and download the VDI and then try to boot it. Python client. I don't even know if it will work, but it's an example of what we can do with it. Okay, major VDI connections. I'm leaning towards this one. I don't know so much about this other one. I'm leaning towards maybe Windows 10. I'm leaning towards Windows 10 VDI. I'm leaning towards Windows 10, like here. Buy fast. Windows 10 VDI download for VirtualBox. Ah, I saw something there. There you go. So you can download this. Yep, you can download this. It's big though. It's 20 gigabytes of download. You can download it, install it, and you'll be good to go. But there are prerequisites. This evaluate virtual machine includes. Oh, okay. These are not prerequisites. It's just yeah, we do it another time. Remind me so we can stand up a virtual machine with our VirtualBox. Do you guys want it to be a homework? So if you guys fail, I can help you with it. What do you guys think? I think it will be a homework. So what we're gonna do is, are you guys with me here? Everybody here?
You're breaking up a bit.
Oh, I'm breaking up. So this is what we're gonna do. So that way everybody will get it. We are going to do this. We are going to. I'm gonna put in here. We are going to do just a simple thing. We are going to install VirtualBox 6.1 or whatever version they have. It doesn't matter. Install VirtualBox 6.0 plus and find any VDI for an operating system you like. Stand that up in your physical machine. Make sure your physical machine supports virtual technology. If not, you can do it with someone else. I don't want you to lose out. So this is what we're gonna do. That's gonna be the homework. We're gonna take care of that. Okay. So now before we go, let's revisit Python. I know some of you guys been playing with Python, right? right? Is anybody there? Oh, they left me. Where are they?
We can
Anybody?
hear you. You're just breaking up.
Oh, you guys can hear me. Awesome, awesome. That's a refreshment to know that you guys can hear me. So we're gonna wrap this up, but I wanted to take you guys back to Python again, and we wrap it up from there. So that so this is gonna be a homework that I'm gonna give. So nobody came here to do this, huh? Ah, what happened, guys? Oh, somebody did. Awesome. So okay. Still trying to figure out what you guys have done here, though. I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, somebody try to do something. That's all good. Control V. All right. So for to, before we go, let's just do a little refresher on Python thingy, because that Python there is very important for us. It's very, very important. We can't play with that. We really need to understand. So did some of you guys look at the code that we did the other day? Did anybody look at it? Any question about it?
The 1000th term, but I couldn't find how to do it to the nth term.
The n term is equal to a value. So when it asks you to enter the n term, you put a value that you want, 10, 15, or whatever. N term goes to infinity in math. So you choose a discrete number that you put in there. That's your n term. So that's the count. It's going to keep that count. The count function, inbuilt function for Python, is going to count till that point. Oh, I lost my peoples. Are you guys back? Are we back?
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yes.
you.
Oh, I'm
Where
sorry.
are all my people at?
Refresh, but I'm good. Sorry.
Everybody has to refresh, even myself. Yep, everybody got to refresh. So where's everybody, sorry?
I'm here. I'm still here.
Oh, okay. That's Judine, I guess. So I want to know if there's any more question in the Python, so we can wrap this up, because we haven't finished the Python. We still have to keep going on it. Still hoping to hear anything. Still hoping to hear somebody say, "Oh, I need to understand this or that." Nothing, guys? Nobody's saying anything. Come on, guys. Hello?
I can hear you.
I know,
I
but
just don't see my picture. I don't see the screen.
I'm not showing any screen. I want to know if you guys are with me. Like
Oh, I'm sorry.
with the
Yes, I'm with
Python,
you.
with the Python,
Yes, we
I'm
are with you.
concerned because the ones that we did, I want to make sure that everybody understood it so we can move forward.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No question, no nothing. Did anybody install repo or PyCharm? Do
I
anybody
didn't. Not yet.
everybody understand how to go to the command prompt and run a Python code, not one liner? You see, that's what I'm worried about.
Like the CMD?
Yeah, yeah, CMD, yeah. How to run the code there,
Yeah.
right? Y'all remember? No?
Python?
Yeah, on Python, yes. You type Python and then you do what?
Format.
You write the file with the extension py, right?
Yes.
Okay. You write the thing with the extension py. So we did we use the variables and literal constants. We've already done that. We've done outputs. We explain how it works. Um, are you guys looking? Are you guys looking here? These are the basics that we already did.
We can't see your page.
What you doing?
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So we did a lot of stuff that covers this area. I don't think we did anything on operators and expressions. Okay, but we did a lot of all these basic stuffs. We finished everything about the first installation here. We did all of this. We did all of this. I showed you guys how to install all of that. And we went and we moved ahead and we did the basics. We learned quite a few tricks. Single quote, double quote, triple quote. How it works. We wrote this simple code about Swarup, the guy that wrote the book. And then we looked at raw strings, the new lines, variable identifier names, what you can use for a variable and what you cannot use for a variable. We did all that. We did the data types. We specified the data types in Python is loosely knit. It's not strict like others. And we wrote the program in, I believe we wrote the program in REPL instead of PyCharm because I didn't have PyCharm on my computer. And I encourage you guys to install PyCharm. And this whole code here, you can copy and paste it and run it. But what's important is for us to understand what is happening in this code. Can someone tell me, with their limited experience, what's happening here? Don't be shy, don't be scared, just say it. Logically, look at it. Remember, assignment parameters go from left to right, so it's not equal sign, it's assignment. You're assigning what is on the right to what's on the left. So go read it. Raise your voice a little bit.
I say it looks like you assign a variable I a value of 5.
To what? You assign 5 to what? To I, right?
Yeah, variable I.
Then you print the I, right?
Yes.
Then you take that I and you add 1 to it, and you assign it again to I, and you print I, right? So what should we get here?
It says 6.
There you go. We'll get a 6 here. All right. Can somebody write the code quickly on the one-liner and tell us the answer? To write it, you just do a Python. I think you can do this on a one-liner. So you do Python. Okay. So you assign a I to 5, right? You print you print I, right? You print the I. You can also use the other parentheses too if you like. You print the I, it gives you 5. Then you go that I is now equal to I again. There's no new value declared here, so you might not get any wrong answer. So now when we push enter, something strange happened. I is equal to I plus 1, right? Uh, hmm. Okay, this is strange. Okay, I know what to do. I'll just print I instead of expecting it to give me an answer, guys. Like instead of acting like as if they already solved it. Okay, no,
You said print I.
I want to put 1. Sorry, so it should be 6. Is that 6, guys?
Yes.
So because I'm used to other languages, so if it was other languages, when you say I is equal to I plus 1, it will just give you the answer. But in this one, it will give you a little space so that you can give it the right command, like print the function with the argument I, which is a variable, not necessarily an argument, but it's still a variable, and it will do that. So now we are getting the hang of what's going on here, and I encourage you guys to remain fearless and keep doing what you're doing, guys. It's gonna be amazing for all of y'all. You know, just keep doing what you're doing. I don't have anything else to say, and if you get home tonight, try and run all this, save it on a file, name it anything you like, and run it in a REPL or you run it in PyCharm. So PyCharm is an IDE, integrated development environment. It's gonna be fun if you use it that way. Okay? So I just hope that you guys recognize the importance of what we're doing and cherish every bit of it. Now we're gonna wrap up this class next time, which is next Sunday. This coming Sunday, we're gonna do a whole lot of Python. I'm glad we were able to do virtualization. I'm so excited. So now with the virtualization, not completely out of the way, but somehow out of the way, because I still have to show you guys how to create a virtual machine in your computers. That will be an added advantage to those of you that's going to be going out there in the workplace. So you have these experiences and make sure you are documenting everything you are doing because we're going to use it as something you did for the company so that when you go looking for job, you have a portfolio of things that you have done. So now to wrap up, we want to thank Lockdown LLC. But well, first we want to thank you guys for showing up in class in time and remaining consistent. And we want to thank Lockdown LLC for supporting us and E2020 implementation partner for delivering the program. I really appreciate every bit of it. I'm having a blast out of it. I hope you are doing the same too. And that's it for the day 14.
Thanks, team.
Thank you.
All right, y'all take it easy now.
Yeah.
I just show my face for a
Thank
bit.
you.
I'll just show my face for a bit. All right, y'all take it easy. Good night, all. Who's making all that noise there? Man, I know there's that tomorrow boy there. Let me go pay him a visit. Come on, man.